Today I'm going to show you my new Mooer high gain preset pack for the Fractal Audio AxeFx III. If you're watching my videos, you may know that I'm a big fan of the Fractal Audio products, especially the AxeFx III and the FM9. And I use these things in most of my videos, except of course when I'm trying out some other gear. But yeah, so yeah, you can find a lot of videos on my channel where I use the AxeFx III and the FM9 and also the older AxeFx version 2 and version 1. But I got a lot of questions regarding my sound and if I could share my patches. So I thought now it's time maybe to finally share my patches with you. And yeah, for that purpose I checked out my favorite high gain patches and put them into a preset pack which I'm selling. So if you're interested, please contact me on Facebook or Messenger. But today I would like to show you some of these presets that come with the preset pack, and also, what is more important, I would like to explain how these presets are supposed to be used or how they work, because there's a lot of stuff going on in these presets. So I've opened up the editor for you here, and it's the AxeFx III, and that is one sound which comes with the preset pack. And so let me explain how these presets are set up. First of all, I have to mention that all these presets have the same structure. So I will not explain them all because, yeah, it's of no mean. If you understand one, then maybe you could understand them all. Each preset comes with 8 scenes, as you can see here. And what is very important is that you are checking out all these scenes. Usually, scene number 1 is my rhythm scene. So, yeah, it's basically only the reverb, as far as the time-based effects are concerned, is engaged, and sometimes the enhancer. Yeah, the reverb is, I'm always using the same settings when playing at home. And yeah, so here you have the effects chain, and basically in the upper row these are the effects which are located before the amp, and here you have the effects which are after the amp and cap block. And so let me go quick through the most important effect blocks here. So it starts with a parametric EQ. That is very important, because this parametric EQ is designed to be used with different guitars, with different pickups. And as you can see here, it's currently in the channel 1 where nothing is happening. So that means I'm using the guitar which I used to design these patches, which is the Harley Benton Fusion 3 with the Roswell humbuckers, everything stock. And these pickups, they're a little bit unique in my opinion. They're more or less PAF voiced. They don't have that much output. So yeah, it's everything flat here. But if I use this patch with another guitar, for example, brought here the Check the Banshee with EMGs. This guitar has way more output. It might be a little bit too much gain for this guitar. So here I have another scene, another channel, channel B, which is more or less designed for these higher output pickups. So I try to create these patches as flexible as possible that you can use it with, or that it will work with your gear. But of course, it's not said that it's working with every guitar. So yeah, if you find these sounds to have too much gain, then you should maybe reduce the level here more. Now I set it currently to -5 dB, but you can reduce it a little bit more, then you get less saturation. Anyway, and also I've dialed out some frequencies here, which seem to be a little bit annoying with the EMGs. So channel B is more or less designed for this EMG 81-85 combination, and the other channels are for other guitars. For example, if you're using a Les Paul style guitar, which is the Harley Benton SC550, usually with the Les Pauls I tend to dial out a little bit of the lower mids, so here the channel D would be designed for these kind of guitars. Because the thing is, of course, people maybe like the Les Paul sound with this fat lower mid range. But if you want to get a more transparent sound of it, then maybe you should dial out these things. As you can see here, I'm raising a little bit of these frequencies around the 1.6K and reducing the lower mids, and also reducing the overall volume a little bit. So channel D would be for maybe Les Paul style guitars. And channel C is, well, let me take the other guitar. Or maybe I could take here the one with the EMGs again. It's more or less an attempt to replicate the punch of maybe the like the Seymour Duncan JB, what is it called, TB4 or something, or maybe the DiMarzio Tone Zone. These pickups, they're passive pickups. They have this punch in the upper mid range, and if you're playing, for example, EMGs, which seem to compress way more, that is the EMG. You want to have a little bit more like a passive pickup sound, like this 80-ish TB4. Here I dial in these characteristics of the maybe Tone Zone or the TB4, which these pickups seem to have a little bit more in the lower range, but also this huge bump in the 1.6K, 5K. And also if you are playing a clean tone, I'll show the scenes in a second, but for example here, without any correction with the EMG, you have this sound which is a little bit muddy. With the correction, you have this transparent tone, But if you apply this here, it goes way more into Strat territory, especially here. So yeah. So this block gives you maybe a little bit flexibility if you're using different guitars. Let's go back to the original guitar so that I can show you all the other scenes. Yeah, so you can use this block, and yeah, if you found to have your sound too much gain or less gain there, or too less gain there now, yeah, use the level here. And as you can see, it has a scene ignore feature engaged, so that means, yeah, it will stay in the same channel also if you're switching scenes, if you want that. The next thing is the wah. Also, scene ignore is engaged. Let me go back here to the rhythm tone. And if you engage the wah, you can see it's in auto wah. So that is my favorite wah setting. Of course, you could use this with a pedal. Then you have to adjust the control here. But I set it as an auto wah. Then we have a phaser, which is engaged, I think, in one scene. Yeah, you could check these things out by yourself. Maybe go to the lead scene. So scene 2 is usually my lead scene, where the delay is engaged. And yeah, if you engage the phaser, it's my favorite phaser sound in the AxeFx, so I choose this model. Same with the flanger. Maybe you know I like to use these things more subtle, these modulation effects. And yeah, here we have the compressor and another parametric EQ. And these things, they are used more or less in the clean scenes. So here, scene number 6 is my clean scene. It's designed to be used on the neck pickup primarily. And especially if you have a single coil here, or a split mode, which is my favorite clean mode here on these guitars. As you can see, I don't use an amp or cap. Instead, I'm using a parametric EQ to shape the guitar signal. And also lots of compression, which is nice. In a live situation, you have always the same level. And also a little bit of chorus. And in the scene 8, I'm using a Plex delay block. It's also very nice with this shimmer effect. So scene 6 and scene 8 are more or less my clean scenes in all of these patches. There I'm using the compressor here and this parametric EQ. Another thing which is coming in front of the amp is the pitch block, which is the block I'm using for the whammy effect, where you're controlling the pitch of the note with a pedal. But it's bypassed because I don't know if you have an expression pedal connected, but you can use it if you it's set up as a whammy here, as you can see. And I think here it's maybe set up as detune, but here in the channel A it's set up as a whammy, and you can see here it's the control is also connected to a low frequency oscillator, but here you have to set up your pedal if you are using a pedal. And yeah, other than that, it's not used, I think, in these patches. Then you have the amp block and the cap section. And the cap section is very important because I'm using my own IRs, which come with the preset pack. It's basically two IRs, the DK Maria 1 and the DK Maria 2. But the DK Maria 2 is used only in one patch. So make sure that you're importing the DK Maria 1 for all these patches, maybe in the user slot 1, user 137 I'm using here, but it doesn't matter where you put it. It's just the IR which is supposed to be used with most of these patches. And one patch is using the Maria 2, which I will show you in a second. Everything else is stock here. I don't do anything. I didn't change here the align setting, and also I don't use a preamp. And also here the smoothing is already rendered into the IR, so you don't need to set the smoothing parameter. And then we have another phaser block, which is used or can be used also in the clean scene, but it's dialed in to be a wipe tone. Of course, you can use it with distortion too. It sounds nice sometimes. But you can get this tone only if you place it after the amps, so that's the reason why I have two phaser blocks here. And yeah, the Plex delay is used for the shimmer effect, which I showed you already. And the enhancer block here, and it's very interesting. I like to use these widener effect where one side of the stereo signal is delayed. So that is done by the enhancer block here. It might be engaged in some presets, in other presets it's disengaged. But make sure that you're playing in stereo, then you will hear this nice effect. We have also a tremolo going on here. It's time-based, so you can tap in the tempo. And of course it's working on with all the other sounds too. And yeah, we have the chorus, which is used for the clean tones. It's dimension C chorus I'm using most of the time. And different delays here, which I'm using in parallel with the reverb. And we have a multi-band compression, which is basically reducing the lower mids when chugging here. Shouldn't do anything when you're playing higher notes. I explained this in many videos. It's just a region between 90 Hz and 350 Hz, and it's very useful in a live situation. Also, in most of these patches in the amp block, I'm using the auto pitch follower here, so that these frequencies are raised a little bit when playing higher notes. Fatten up the note a little bit. That is very nice, I think. Yeah, it's dynamic. And that's basically it for the effects chain. But yeah, I have some other scenes here. Scene 2 is usually my lead scene with a ping pong delay. So also stereo. And scene 3 has a longer delay. Sometimes it's more or less a crunch tone, like in this patch. then another amp setting is used. But sometimes it's the same, and then it's just a lead tone with a longer delay, maybe for ballady style tones. And yeah, scene 4 is a light crunch tone. Using another amp in most presets. As you can see here, the chorus is engaged. Scene number 5 has these another delay, the Ingvi delay as I call it. As you can hear, it's just and scene 6 is the clean tone, which I showed you before, designed for the neck pickup. Scene number 7, here the phaser is engaged. And scene number 8, another clean scene with the shimmer. So as you can see, some of these effects are not used in any scene, but of course you can turn them on if you like. And also in the enhancer block here, usually I'm using the classic mode, or in some sub-patches the stereoizer mode. And yeah, that is basically how these presets are set up and are supposed to be used. And yeah, I can show you a couple of these sounds now. Usually they come with different high gain amps. Here I made one which is coming with the same amp but with another IR, which is this preset, the DNA FxGit chorus, is using the DK Maria 2 as the only preset. And the reason why it's called this like that, it's because it's a tone match of the Harley Benton DNA FxGit. They are dialed in a Marshall tone, which I really like. So I tone matched it here. And the other scenes, they are... You can see here's the wah engaged. They vary a little bit. And what else do we have? Well, here is a patch with the 5153. Very nice lead tone. And basically the high gain amps which I use mostly in the Fractal AxeFx are used in these presets. So you have everything from Marshall, the Mesas, Soldano, PVs, Friedman. And also something which maybe you don't find that often. For example, here the tri-axis. Maybe I forgot this song, sorry, but it reminds me a lot of the Metallica Load era. Tri-axis is my favorite analog preamp. I own this thing, I played it a long time. I could say it's a little bit difficult to dial in a tone in the tri-axis here, and also in the usual in the real tri-axis, because you have to know that it has a pre-gain tone stack. Anyway, the model here in the AxeFx, the tri-axis models, they kick ass, but you don't find people using them very often because, yeah, they may be a little bit difficult to use. Anyway, you will get the best patch you can get for the tri-axis. And yeah, Patricia JP2C+. And here I think I'm using the sterilizer, which is a little bit of another widening effect. Maybe you know Patricia is using this widener effect from time to time. And so I played around with that a little bit more here in this patch. There's also a great lead amp here. With these amps, the Mesa amps, yeah, you have to use the output EQ for the tone shaping and basically the input EQ here for pushing the input stage, distortion stage of the amp. And yeah, I can recommend to look into these things if you're interested in how to set up an amp. Also, I'm using the input EQ in some patches, maybe I don't know, maybe here in the rectals. You can see I'm cutting off a lot of the lows here. Sometimes I'm pushing some mids with the input EQ here, and also the output EQ is used very often. And sometimes in the preamp section I'm doing something here with the low cut frequency, high cut frequencies. So these patches, they took quite some work. But I'm quite pleased with the results, so I hope you enjoy them as much as I do. And yeah, if you want to get them, then please contact me, as I said, Facebook or Messenger. And also I'll put this pack out for the Fractal Audio FM9 and maybe a similar one in the future for the Fractal Audio AxeFx II. And also I'm selling these preset packs for other modeling units, yeah, for the Hotone Ampero, the Mooer Ge200, Ge300, and many more. Anyway, so please consider subscribing to my channel and give me a thumbs up. Hope to see you soon. Goodbye.